A secret this big was never meant to survive the walls of the Bridgerton ballroom. Yet here it is, ready to shatter reputations and friendships, and rewrite everything the Ton believes about status and power. Because before she became one of the most admired women in London, she was nothing more than a servant. And now, her past is crawling back from the darkness, ready to destroy Evertha. Night begins like any other in the glittering world of the Ton, music filling the air, gowns shining under candlelight, and nobles whispering behind their fans. But beneath the soft glow of chandeliers lies a secret so sharp, it cuts through the calm like a blade. Everyone believes they know the newest young woman to grace the season eye, a woman whose beauty and grace turn every head when she enters a room. What they do not know is that her story does not begin in luxury. It begins in a small, cold servant's room, deep below the floors of a grand estate. She learned early how to move quietly, how to observe without being seen, how to serve without being thanked. These were not skills meant for the ballroom, yet somehow they shaped her more than any dance lesson ever could. She carried trays, polished silver, and overheard every secret whispered by the very people who now bow to her. She grew up among their discarded conversations, the ones they believed a servant was too invisible to understand. But something changed the night. She vanished from that house without warning. Rumors spread, of course. Some said she ran away. Others whispered she had been taken under the wing of a mysterious benefactor. And there were a few who claimed she discovered something so dangerous that she could never stay. Whatever the truth was, she returned to London years later, transformed, no longer a servant, but a woman of striking confidence, dressed in pearls instead of rags. Now she stands in the center of every ballroom, admired by people who would once have ordered her to clean their shoes. Yet she wears her smile like armor because she knows London is built on gossip, and gossip is always hungry. One whisper in the wrong ear could bring her whole world crashing down. And tonight, as eyes follow her graceful steps, a shadow moves through the crowd, a reminder that her past is not buried. It is waiting for the perfect moment to rise again. Why Tihing she has gained. From the moment she steps into the ballroom, as the air shifts. It is not the usual curiosity that follows her, not the warm smiles or polite nods she has grown used to. Tonight, the attention feels sharper, colder, like invisible hands pulling at the edges of her story. The Ton senses something they cannot name yet, but they can feel it. Like the quiet before a storm breaks over Mayfair, a pair of ladies whisper behind their feathered fans, their eyes darting toward her with undisguised interest. They do not whisper about her gown or her dance card. No, their voices are tight, almost eager, fueled by a fresh rumor that has begun to slip from ear to ear. A rumor that claims her perfect life is built on a lie. One of them leans in closer, lowering her voice even more, as though sharing a secret she has waited too long to spill. They say, the woman murmurs, "She used to serve tea in someone's kitchen," the other gasps, more from excitement than shock. Across the room, gentlemen raise their brows, pretending not to care, yet clearly listening for every detail. A scandal is entertainment to them, something to chew on when the dances grow dull. But this scandal feels different, more personal. As if exposing her could somehow restore the rigid order they believe must never be shaken. After all, what does it say about their world if someone like her could rise so high? Even the orchestra stumbles for a brief second, the violins hesitating as if the rumor has reached the musicians themselves. She feels it all, the stares, the whispers, the sudden shift in how people stand when she walks past. The room that once welcomed her now watches her like a stage, built for her downfall. A chill runs down her spine, though her face remains calm. Every smile perfectly placed. She knows exactly how fragile her position is. London's high society is like a tower of glass, beautiful, but ready to shatter at the slightest tap. And tonight, someone is tapping harder than ever. Someone wants her past dragged back into the light. Someone wants her exposed. Still, she moves as if nothing is wrong. Her steps are steady, her posture strong. But inside, a fear she thought she buried long ago starts to rise, because she remembers the people she once served. She remembers the voices that ordered her to be silent, invisible, obedient. And now those same voices whisper her name again. Not with command, but with suspicion. Not with power, but with hunger. A truth she has fought to outrun has finally caught its scent as she glides across the room. Pretending the whispers are nothing more than drifting music, a figure appears in the corner of her vision. At first, she thinks her mind is playing tricks, haunting her with memories she has spent years trying to forget. But when she turns her head ever so slightly, her breath catches. Because standing near the edge of the ballroom, half hidden in the dim light, is a man she hoped never to see again. He is not dressed like the nobles around him. His clothes are clean but plain, the kind worn by those who work behind the scenes of grand estates. A man who belongs belowstairs, not here. His presence alone is a warning, a reminder that the past does not always stay buried. And the way he looks at her, it is not with kindness. It is not even with anger. It is with knowledge of who she once was. Her pulse quickens. She remembers his face clearly. Years ago, he worked beside her in the same house where she polished the silver and scrubbed the floors. He knew her real name then, the name she shed when she rebuilt her life. He knew every misery she endured, every hope she whispered in the dark. He also knew the secret that forced her to run faster than fear, faster than shame, faster than the truth itself. Seeing him now feels like watching a door she locked long ago swing open by itself. He does not bow. He does not smile. He simply watches her with the same expression he wore the night she disappeared, shocked, confused, and betrayed. The expression of a man who expected her to stay, who expected her to remain a servant forever. Now he stands in a world he does not belong to, holding her entire history in his hands like a weapon. She forces herself to look away before anyone notices the recognition in her eyes. But it is already too late. Lady Whistledown's newest letter is said to drop by morning, and this man's sudden arrival is no coincidence. Someone brought him here. Someone wants her secrets to explode in the middle of London's most perfect season. She moves toward the balcony, trying to escape the weight of his stare. Each step feels heavier than the last. The candles flicker, the music swells, and still his presence burns at her back. The walls of the ballroom seem to press closer, as if the room itself can sense her unraveling. Outside, the cool night air hits her skin, but it does nothing to steady her heart, because she knows the truth. If he has come here, her past is not just following her, it is coming to collect. The night air should calm her, but instead it wraps around her like a cold warning. She grips the balcony rail, her knuckles pale against the metal, as memories she has tried so hard to bury begin to claw their way back. Because the man inside the ballroom is not just a reminder of her old life. He is the keeper of the secret that changed everything. She closes her eyes, and for a moment she is no longer in a shimmering gown or a grand estate. She is back in the servants' quarters, standing in a narrow hallway filled with the smell of soap and steam. She remembers the sound of hurried footsteps, the echo of raised voices, and the weight of a truth she was never meant to hear. A truth that could have toppled a noble house if spoken aloud. Late one night, as she scrubbed the corridor outside the study, she heard her employer arguing with a visitor. Their words were sharp, panicked, and full of fear that a hidden document had been discovered. Fear that a betrayal inside their own family would be exposed. She didn't understand everything, but she understood enough. She knew names. She knew dates. She knew the kind of secret that ruins lives. And someone else knew she had heard it. The next morning, her life changed forever. She found her room turned upside down, her few belongings scattered, her bed torn apart as if someone had been searching for proof she might hold. The look the housekeeper gave her confirmed everything: fear, disguised as pity. A warning she dared not speak aloud. That was when she knew she had to vanish. Not to save her life, but to save the truth she carried. A truth someone powerful would do anything to bury. She ran with nothing but the clothes on her back. Ran into a city that did not welcome or protect girls like her. But she survived anyway, fought her way through every hardship, and rose higher than anyone believed she could. Until tonight, Because the man now standing in the ballroom quiet, plain unnoticed, was there the night she overheard the argument. He saw the panic in her eyes. He saw the way she fled. And he was the only person who knew exactly why she ran. If he speaks now, everything she has built will collapse. Not just her reputation, but the fragile peace between two noble families who depend on that secret staying buried. Her rise is not the only thing it risks. So is the stability of a name far more powerful than her own. She exhales slowly, trying to steady herself. But fear has already woven itself into her breath. Inside the ballroom, candles glow and music swirls as if nothing is wrong. But she knows better. Tonight is no longer about being. The moment she steps back into the ballroom, she can feel it like a change in the air before lightning strikes. Conversations pause mid-sentence. Fans flutter faster. Eyes sharpen. The whispers have grown darker, heavier. No longer simple gossip, but something closer to accusation. The rumor is no longer crawling. It is running near the refreshment table. Two young men bend their heads together, pretending to talk about the music, but their eyes flick toward her with every other breath. A group of older women form a circle, their posture stiff, their expressions too polite to be sincere. Even the hosts of the evening, usually warm and welcoming, glance at her with a strange mix of curiosity and caution. Lady Whistledown's words have not yet been printed. It does not matter. The tongue does not need ink to believe a lie. A whisper, delivered at the right moment, becomes a seed. And tonight that seed has taken root. She walks forward with her chin raised, but inside panic twists like a rope tightening. Every whisper feels louder. Every stolen glance feels sharper. And the man from her past, still standing in the shadows, watches her like someone waiting for the right moment to reveal a weapon. A young debutante steps into her path, her smile polite but trembling with excitement. "Is it true?" the girl asks, voice soft but urgent. "Were you really one of them? A servant?" The words hit her harder than any slap could. All the years of reinvention, all the lessons, all the effort to become someone worthy of this world, and still, her past trails her like a stain no silk gown can hide. She answers with calm elegance, refusing to give the girl the reaction she seeks. But the damage is already done. The girl hurries away, eager to share her new piece of treasure with whomever will listen. The music changes, but the tension does not. Even her dance partner notices her distraction, though he tries to mask his concern behind a polite smile. "You seem troubled," he murmurs gently. But she cannot tell him the truth. How could she? He belongs to the very world that would turn on her in a heartbeat. The world she infiltrated but never truly belonged to. Then, like a spark in a dry field, the first bold whisper explodes across the room. "She's pretending. She is not one of us. She comes from nothing." 3 sentences. Small, fragile things. Yet they spread faster than fire. And with each repetition, they grow sharper, more confident, more cruel. The ballroom that once adored her now feels like a cage. Golden walls closing in, she lifts her head and forces herself to breathe. This is not the first time she has stood on the edge of danger. But this time, the battlefield is different. The enemy is not a single person. It is a crowd hungry for scandal. It's eager to tear apart anyone who rises too quickly. And somewhere among them is the person who brought her past back to life. And that person, she knows, is far from finished. She slips away from the ballroom before anyone else can corner her with more questions. Her steps echo softly through the empty corridor, a sharp contrast to the music that still floats from the main hall. The lights here are dimmer, the silence heavier. It feels like the hallway itself is holding its breath. It's waiting for something to happen, and something does. A shadow detaches from the far end of the corridor, slow, steady, purposeful. She stops breathing for a moment. It's him, the man from her past, the one person in London who truly knows the girl she used to be. He walks toward her with the same quiet footsteps he once used to cross the servants' hall. No rush, no fear. As if he knows she has nowhere to run this time. When he finally stands before her, the air between them feels thick with years of unspoken truth. He looks at her the same way he did that last night, hurt, confused, and carrying a truth he never meant to hold. "You've built quite a life," he says softly. His voice is calm, but it slices through her like a blade. "A name, a reputation. People bow to you now," he pauses. "Strange, isn't it? How quickly the world forgets where someone comes from." She forces herself to meet his gaze. "Why are you here?" she asks, though she already knows the answer. No one from her past walks into a Bridgerton ballroom by accident. Someone brought him here. Someone gave him a reason to speak. He studies her face, searching for the girl he once knew beneath all the silk and jewels. "Do you think they'll still bow once they learn the truth?" he asks. "Do you think they'll still smile and dance with you when they know you used to wash their floors?" His voice is not angry, but disappointed. And somehow, disappointment hurts more. She steps closer. "I left because I had to," she says quietly. "You know what I heard that night? You know why I ran?" Flicker crosses his eyes. Fear, recognition, guilt. He remembers. The shouting, the threats, the danger she stumbled into by accident. That secret, she whispers, was never mine to keep. But if it comes out, people far more powerful than you or I will fall. You think the Ton is cruel now? Imagine what they'll do when they discover the truth behind their own walls. He looks away, torn between loyalty to the girl he once worked beside and the lure of justice or revenge that someone else promised him. "You deserve to be happy," he murmurs. "But happiness built on lies can't survive." His words linger like smoke as he steps back into the shadows. She watches him disappear, her heart pounding. He isn't threatening her. He isn't warning her. He is deciding. Deciding whether to protect her or destroy her. And somewhere in the ballroom, the person who brought him here is waiting to strike. The moment he speaks, when she returns to the ballroom, something inside her has changed. The fear is still there, tightening around her ribs, but now it burns with something stronger determination. She knows her world is cracking. She knows the truth is circling her like wolves around a weakened deer. Yet she also knows one thing with absolute certainty. She did not survive her past. It's just a collapse under gossip. But the Ton is not finished. Not even close. As she walks in, the crowd splits in two, not out of respect, but out of suspicion. Their eyes track her like she's a storm cloud drifting across a perfect sky. People lean into one another, trading pieces of the story as if they own it. The rumor that began as a whisper is now a living creature, fed by every curious mind and sharpened by every jealous heart. Then the doors at the back of the ballroom open. The man from her past steps inside, not hiding this time, not lingering in shadows. He walks forward with a steady, almost painful sense of purpose. Her breath catches. The entire room freezes, sensing something enormous about to unfold. He stops at the center of the floor. Dozens of eyes turn to him. Some eager, some horrified, some thrilled by the promise of a scandal big enough to drown the entire season. Lady Whistledown herself could not have planned a more dramatic stage. She stands still, entire future hanging on a single moment. If he speaks her true name, everything ends: her status, her alliances, her chance at love, her carefully rebuilt life. The Ton loves a rise, but it loves a fall even more. The silence stretches. A single violin note trembles in the background, then fades. Finally, he looks at her, and in his eyes, she sees the memory of the girl she once was, the girl who shared stolen bread with him, who laughed quietly in dark hallways, who trusted him when she trusted no one else. He takes a breath, and the entire ballroom seems to inhale with him. "I know her," says at last, voice carrying across the room. "She is kind. She is loyal. And whatever story you have heard is not the truth." Gasps ripple through the hall. Shock, confusion, disappointment. The Ton expected blood, not protection. He bows slightly toward her, then steps back into the crowd. In that moment, she realizes something powerful. Her past may still chase her, but she is no longer running alone. The scandal is not over. The whispers will return. The person who brought him here will try again. And Lady Whistledown's pen is far from finished. But tonight, she has survived. And survival in a world like this is not weakness. It is victory. Because in Bridgerton Season 4, the greatest scandal is not that she was once a servant. It is that she rose so high, the Tun never saw her coming.